Hey folks, this is Rabble Rousing Rich Bergeron.
And it's the Tornado Tony Pentecost. And Psychic Tom Paget with his crystal ball bright and shiny.
Wow.
Oh, shiny.
We had some unexpected stuff go down in Brazil. Boy, I don't think anybody, even with the best crystal ball, could have predicted the ending of that one. Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade, even though she had a lot of experience, she was at home, and Andrade was pumped, but she was getting her butt whipped by the old-fashioned good boxing style of Rose. And not to toot my own horn here, but I did know when I was watching Rose's striking and especially her punching, she did something that I used to always do by habit and training, was keep my right hand up by my face as much as possible. You know, unless I was throwing it, obviously. But always up by my face somewhere, near chin area, somewhere, whether it was palm out or palm in. You know, I always kept the hand up. So usually it was my right hand because I jabbed so much. And Rose did the same thing. She was very intelligent fight plan, but Jessica Andrade picked her up, slammed her on her noggin, and just almost minute beating stopped right there because Andrade took advantage of who looked like she broke her neck. Actually, I wasn't the only one who thought that on first watch. And ironically, she was coming into the fight dealing with a neck injury, which I read afterwards. So, almost a miracle that she didn't hurt her neck. But got knocked out, and I think it was a couple of punches after that they realized she was out. And Andrade wins the fight. Not the way I would have expected it. Pretty great. What do you think of that one, Tom?
Yeah, that was a surprise. That was a real surprise. And, Rose is she always kind of had the feeling that, you get that feeling about her that she almost didn't care for her career. And she was talking about going off in a bunch of different directions afterwards.
Yeah.
And that feeling, if you start talking about quitting and your heart's not in it, maybe that's the thing to do. Play the piano. That's what she wants to do.
Really? So, yeah, I did read that she was kind of discontent with the idea of constantly thinking about defending the title. There's a lot of pressure. Kind of reminded me of how Anderson Silva, who's in the co-main event and lost another fight, which we'll talk about in a minute, how Anderson Silva talked about losing his title. Sort of the same way, when he finally sat down and got interviewed about it. He said, there's a lot of pressure with that comes with it, and it's kind of good to have that pressure off me. So, in a way, it's a relief to lose the title in that situation, especially if you're in a situation like Rose, who, she really doesn't have a long MMA career. I mean, 8-4, 12 fights. Not a huge amount of fights, and not something that she has to keep doing, I guess. She's financially able to do other things if she wants to. So, not that she took a lot of punishment. I mean, it was basically one slam, but, every time you get knocked out, obviously, you do a little bit of damage up there. So, it makes you think twice about getting back in there. But we'll see. I think she'll be back, whether she takes a year off or they do an immediate rematch. I think she'll be back. She'll get some time to think about it and realize after she watches it that she was whipping this girl's butt up until that point. So maybe she wasn't dealing with the next situation, and if she had a little bit better defense to those, suplexes and body slams, she would do a little better. But yeah, freak ending there. And then Jared Cannonier gave Anderson Silva the old kick to the back of the knee Looked like he dislocated it 4 minutes and 49 seconds into the first round, so just 10 seconds left in the round. There goes your knee, Anderson. And he still won't retire. Got a lot of fight left. I mean, he's got like 4 or 5 fights left on his current contract, so.
You just have to wonder where he's going to be 10, 15 years down the road with all these injuries piling up. And this is kind of sad to see.
Well, at least this time he didn't do it to himself. Give him the old rubber chicken leg. That was the most brutal thing I've ever seen live. Definitely. Except, well, there was one football player.
Yeah, it just shows what old man aging does, you know.
Yeah. There was one football player, I'll never forget it because his name was Napoleon. I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Napoleon. And he twisted his knee, broke his leg on live TV. That was the only other thing that was worse. They showed the replay like 5 times.
And I was a freshman in college. It was 1994. I keep wanting. Obviously, this is not a nickname, but I keep saying Napoleon Dynamite. But obviously, it's not.
Right.
But I remember it when it happened.
It was bad.
You know, it was pretty gruesome.
Yeah. The only thing that would have been worse is if, like, the guy had literally ripped the dude's leg off. Medieval style. No, it was bad though. Anyway, we also had Jose Aldo getting upset there by Alexander Volkanovski by unanimous decision. Just fought a better fight there, and Jose Aldo talking about going over boxing. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe not, but I don't know. We'll have to see what he does after this. See if he makes some adjustments. Also, there was a unanimous decision for Laureano Staropoli over Thiago Alves. And pretty much everybody with the big name got beat. We had Betch Correia on the undercard getting beat by submission, armbar. And boy, that was a brutal female fight. I caught a little bit of that. And next thing I know, I look up and Betch is getting caught in the armbar. 3 minutes and 24 seconds into the third round. Irene Aldana, with looked like a broken nose, wins the fight. She totally lucked out on it, but oh man, they were beating the crap out of each other. And then Ryan Spann beats the big dude, Antonio Rosario Nogueira. Got knocked the fuck out by punches.
That was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. Oh.
Just swarmed him. Also, Kurt Hallbaugh went down by unanimous decision to Thiago Moises. Worley Alves beat Sergio Moraes by a knockout punch. 4 minutes and 13 seconds into round 3. And the battle of the journeyman, Clay Guida and BJ Penn on the undercard did not go well for BJ Penn. Big newsflash. It was a unanimous decision win for Clay. And BJ looked pretty horrible, I gotta say. He really didn't hold his own.
Well, someone made a comment after that you'd think that BJ would get tired of getting his ass because he runs out of gas, bad cardio.
Yeah.
And I knew in the second round when he was looking up at the clock. That's not a good sign.
Never a good sign.
No. You never want to be looking at that clock. You've seen it. We've seen it before.
You know what it was funny? I was watching a documentary the other day, completely different sport, but remember the 1980 Miracle on Ice when the U.S. team beat the unbeatable Soviets? And the guy that was the captain of the team, Michael Ruzioni, he was talking on a documentary. He goes, we scored the goal. And he scored the winning goal. He goes, and it was, say, like 9:49 left in the third period and technically the game. He goes, we go out for like another shift or whatever, and it's like 9:42. He goes, it drug those last almost 10 minutes. Drug like you wouldn't believe it. Because we just kept looking up at the clock, and it was like every minute shift seemed like it was only 5 seconds elapsed.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. I'm going to talk about something in a minute that's a documentary. You said documentary. I would have forgotten about it if you didn't mention that. But we'll get there. A couple more fights to mention. Luana, Carolina, over Priscilla Cachoeira, also by unanimous decision. A lot of those. Second fight of the night, Ronnie Barcelos beating Carlos Huachin by elbows and punches, TKO. 4 minutes and 49 seconds into round 2. And then the first fight of the night, Vivian Araujo beating Talita Bernardo by knockout punch. 48 seconds into round 3 there. And talk about documentaries. Do you guys ever watch cable channel Nat Geo Wild? National Geographic? Wild?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure there's probably YouTube videos, so search for it online. It's a show called Animal Fight Night. Okay? And will blow your freaking mind watching the show. Because I think they've actually done some shows before with Fight Science and training and stuff where they use the same technology of like where they go to the skeletal picture of what the person is doing. You know, it's like a graphic and they show it and it's not real, it's like a simulation. So they'll show the actual action and they'll show like different parts of the action, but they'll actually make it skeletal as it's happening. You know, same thing happens on screen, they'll show it in the graphic. And they'll explain while they've got the graphic up, you know, what the force is of the jaw and, you know, muscles involved in the bite and all this other stuff, right? So they must have had like a marathon on the other day that I was watching. Animal Fight Night. It is the most unbelievable show. And, you know, we don't talk about animals fighting a lot on this show because most of the animal fights you would go to watch are illegal. They're organized. But, yeah, this is nature fighting, you know, mostly one species on another, but there's some interesting ones, cross-species, like a leopard. There's a bunch of lionesses. So first, one lioness steals the leopard's kill, throws him right out of a tree, steals its kill, and then they drag it off, and the next day the lioness has left it to the side, and the leopard goes and tries to steal what's left of it. And oh my god, the fight scene breaks out, and the lioness finds out that the leopard's down there. 3 of her friends show up, and they smack that thing around. He's laying there, and then they go back to eating because they took a couple whaps as he's laying there, and it's like, Tom, you would even appreciate this because he shows good ground skills. The leopard. Tiny little leopard against 3 big, massive lions.
So I know it's a spoiler, but did the leopard get away?
Yes. The hyena showed up. It's Lion King. It reminds me of Lion King sometimes, the African scenes. The hyena shows up to distract them. And then all of a sudden the leopard sees his opportunity and darts out of there. But yeah, he barely survived. They could have killed him at any point. And you know, some of the things the lions, the male lions do are even worse. They'll go in and like kill the kids of the pride to take over the pride and have their females. They'll go and kill the kids first, and then they'll take the big male and they'll gang up on him. Yeah, some of it is sad. I mean, it's like if you really love animals and you watch it, like some of it is sad, but then most of the time you find out it's just like fighting in real life. Like, you know, they'll see the other animal is so bad that they'll just be like, all right, we'll just let him walk it off, see if he survives. Most of the time they walk away, but sometimes, like, you know, the ones you'd least expect to be violent, like hippos, they're herbivores, right? They eat freaking plants. And the hippo one was the worst. Because, like, you know, they're fat and slow. And they're biting each other with teeth that are meant to grind up plants, you know? And the fight lasts hours. They're filming it with friggin' night vision at the end. Oh, it's so brutal, and there's so much blood. And the way it starts out with these hippos, they square off, and they actually butt lips. Like, they open their jaws up as wide as possible, and they have these little tusks on the inside of their lips, and they just butt with open mouths like it's freaking elk horns, and they bust up their lips first, and then they start biting each other on the backside and the freaking everywhere on the skin they can to get the blood flowing. So by the end of it, there's just like two blobs of fat soaked in blood, and one of them tries to like scurry off, and the other one's just biting him in the ass, biting him in the ass. But it's like it's.
How about giraffes? How about giraffes, Rich? You know?
I haven't seen them yet, but they do have them in the commercial. I haven't seen that episode yet, but I'm gonna catch that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that, and it's just a style. The way they can get so much power for whipping their necks at each other, it's just that's what we're seeing, and even insects.
Yes,
you get down to the world of insects.
They have a lot
of
with
the praying mantis. You know, the old praying mantis kung fu. You know,
yeah.
And supposedly the old masters in China, these ancient kung fu masters, studied the praying mantis. So interesting stuff for sure.
The last one I'll talk about is there's this hornet that goes in and just demolishes beehives. Like, you wonder why the bees are going away. Maybe it's because of this thing. Because it's like a wasp on steroids that goes in and one scouts it out, right, usually, and he'll leave a scent, and then he'll go back and the other ones will be able to find it in a gang. And they'll come in as a gang and they'll just start tearing bees up and eating them alive. Like, it's just crazy. They're like 5 times the size of a bee, and they'll come in swarms, right? So they show this footage. I don't even know how they get this footage, but they show one like flying out there to go scout out, and he lands on the beehive, and he puts the scent out there, and they're narrating it like, oh, he can't wait for the others. He wants to go in and get a snack. So he goes into the beehive where all the bees are, and he decides he's going to have a snack and tries to eat like 2 or 3 of them and then get out of there. But nope, bees got another idea. The bees realize he's all by himself. So they literally just pig pile on him, like hundreds of bees, to the point where the heat is what kills him. They're not really ripping any limbs off or anything, or like biting him. They're just letting the heat that they generate cook him alive on the inside of that pile. And I was just like, wow, that's torture. Talk about waterboarding somebody.
You know, another interesting one. Now that we're on this idiotic topic, is Jurassic Fight Club. That was something on the on History Channel, when the History Channel used to be the History Channel before it became the Pawn Shop Channel. But they used to have these interesting seasonal things, and it's still on YouTube, I believe, where they reconstruct these dinosaur fights.
Yeah,
you guys might enjoy that.
Oh, it's amazing. The real life stuff is amazing. It's when you think about the old species too coming involved. It's crazy. What could fight what? And there's another one just in passing I had to mention: the squirrel versus the snake, and the squirrel wins.
Wow.
Not what you'd expect. But.
And you know what? And that's something that honestly doesn't surprise me a whole lot. Because a lot of times, like just like the cobra and mongoose, them squirrels are quick as shit, and they get a sharp bang. So like they can kind of dart out of the way. And you hear so much about like how cobras and how truly deadly they are, and they are. But the one thing would be other snakes are much faster. Rattlers got that quick like snap, that quick strike, I should say. Where cobras, when they do that stand-up game, are not as quick, and that's what would have to allow the mongoose to dodge, dart, duck, get out of the way. Sounds like from dodgeball. Get out of the way, wear the cobra down, and then get behind him and basically let's like stick his teeth into the back of his neck.
Yeah.
Stick and move. Archie Moore, the mongoose. Old Archie Moore. It's
the funny thing we said was like, it was Archie Moore was the mongoose, Ezra Charles was the cobra, but the cobra beat the Mongoose 4 out of 4 fights. Knocking him out. That's the one time it didn't play to the narrative.
Well, my dad actually has a picture from Vietnam of the little festival they did, and he had the paratrooper booth where they had like a zip line set up to simulate, jumping out of a parachute. And so right next to their booth was a sign that said, Mongoose Cobra fight, 9 o'clock. So they literally did that stuff over in Asia and Japan and all that stuff. Not Japan, Asian countries, Vietnam and stuff. So that was popular. Probably still is. I hear they bet big money on cricket fights.
I'll pull out of space in that part of the world.
Yeah.
I have a few of those stories, but we'll leave them for another time.
All right, getting back to fighting. Real people fighting. I'm going to start boxing off here with the mismatch of the week on the upcoming schedule. We have in the Dominican Republic, we have some featherweights here, female fight in the co-main event of this card. And it's Diana Vargas. I don't know if she's related to any of the other famous Vargases, but she is 9-0, fighting, get this for a name, Zulady Diaz. Zulady. Zuleidy. Zulady. That's definitely the first time I've ever seen that name. Her record is a astonishing 0 wins and 20 losses with no draws.
Wow.
0 for 20. So yeah, tough uphill.
It'd be interesting just to watch someone like that in the gym, even in sparring, to see if they really look that bad, because I wouldn't think it could be a continual case of being overmatched.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here's a great point. I remember that trained out of my gym. I only sparred with once, and he was much more experienced than I was. And so that night in the gym, he was kind of thumping me around a little bit, and this was right before I went for knee surgery, so I probably shouldn't have been in the ring, but I wanted to at least give it one more shot before I had the doctor open me up, and it was like a joke. But they would always say about him, like in the amateurs, he was great, but once he got into the pay rank. He would do so great in the gym, be in such great shape, and look like he was, built out of, granite. But once he, accepted those ropes, it was like he kind of forgot everything, and he ended up being something like 1-6 before he hung it up. One of my other sparring partners was another pro, and one of kind of my mentors at the time. Sparred a lot of rounds with him, and he was watching the night this guy was, kind of taking advantage of me when I was, hobbled up pretty good. So he was like, all right, he goes, Toe's going to be on the shelf for up to 2 months now. He goes, I'm putting it a point on myself that I'm going to get the payback. And he took him in that ring a couple times and thumped him pretty good. And every time he's like, he goes, you're not fighting a guy on one leg right now. He goes, you're not fighting a guy on one leg right now. And he beat him up pretty good. But sometimes you'll run into that where guys are so good in the gym, but once they get the lights, they fall to pieces.
What about the other way around? You ever hear that? Someone looks terrible in the gym, but when the fight's on, they shift gears and do actually better in the fight than in the gym. You ever hear that?
Oh, yeah, you know what leads to that sometimes is the fact that some people. I know the one guy is a professional wrestler. I forget who it is. They always call him Big Match, whatever. When the stage would get bigger, the better he would step it up. But you're right. Sometimes guys in the gym will be lacking. Maybe they're not or they're not doing whatever. But when the lights come on, it's like there they are, and they are.
How about the big guy, Tyson Fury? Didn't he look pretty horrible leading up to his fight with
Yes,
Wilder?
yes, I've heard that. I've heard that about a few others. Even Ali. Supposedly, before he fought Sonny Liston the first time, he was staggered in sparring sessions in the gym, and that's where hardly anyone gave him a chance in that first fight. So, you never know.
You never know.
Also, on Saturday, we got a fight worth mentioning in Russia. Got a couple super featherweights with some good records at the main event. Evgeny Chuprikov, and I wonder if his nickname is Chupacabra. Chuprikov. He is 20-1, fighting Alexander Munoz, who has 40 wins and 8 losses. That's pretty good. And then we got down in Andalusia, Spain, the vacant Ibero-American lightweight title is on the line between Samuel Molina, 9-0, and Ezequiel Victor Fernandez, who is 28-1. Now that has got to be one of the most obscure titles I've heard of. Ibero-American. I don't know what that means. What is Ibero?
You know what? You honestly never know anymore. Let me shut up as it goes.
The WBC Asian Boxing Council bantamweight title is the one fight on the card in Thailand. And you gotta love the Asian names that sound like funny stuff in American. This place in Thailand, they got Bangkok already. Now they got Bang Fun, Thailand. PHUN, though. Fun. We have, the fight is Nawafon Kaikanha. He is 44-1-1, fighting Sonny Boy Jaro, who is 14-5. Somebody's going for the 45th win, and the other guy's going for either his 46th win or his 15th loss there. That's for the WBC Asian Boxing Council bantamweight title, one fight on the card. And we got United Kingdom fight card. A couple interesting fights here. We've got Billy Joe Saunders, 27-0, fighting Shafat Usufi, who is 27-3-2, for the vacant WBO World Super Middleweight title. And Super Bantamweights, Brad Foster, 10-0-1, fighting Ashley Lane, who is 13-8-2, for the BBBFC British Super Bantamweight title and the Commonwealth Super Bantamweight title. Got Joe Joyce, undefeated at heavyweight, 8-0, fighting Alexander Ustinov, who is 34-3 at heavyweight. And how about this guy's?
Pretty prospect.
Yeah.
But one fight, he's sloppier than hell, so I'm not totally sold on him.
We'll see. Well, and then we got a lightweight with a funny name, Boy Jones, instead of Boy George. He is 18-2-1, fighting Sean Cooper, 8-0, for the vacant WBO Youth Lightweight title. And of course, that just made me think of somebody we lost last week, Bert Cooper. And we also lost Harold Letterman, but Harold Letterman got all the press.
Yeah.
And Bert Cooper really got none of it. Because they died around the same time.
Just the way how the timeline worked. Bert passed away last week, and then Harold as well. And you're right, Harold got most of the coverage because being basically a Hall of Famer, and he was on HBO. He was there with you almost like every Saturday night broadcast. You heard his high-pitched voice and was knowledgeable about the sport. But it was funny with Bert Cooper. There's a gentleman that I follow on Facebook, and Richie, I think you follow him as well, Steve Lott, Lott, and he always posts highlight clips, fights on the date they happen. So it'll be like just a couple days ago, yesterday actually, May 15th, he posted highlights of the Bert Cooper Michael Moore fight from 1992, which was I think it was the KO Magazine fight of the year. Also, that was the first card my dad took me to when I was a teenager. He had taken me to one card when I was maybe 5 years old, and I slept on the arena seats because I was like a little kid. but I really, really wanted to go to this Michael Moorer Cooper fight. It was a few months after Cooper damn near took the title from Evander Holyfield. And Burt, for his career, especially early in his career when he was really fighting substance abuse problems, he was a roller coaster. You know, he'd have a great performance, and then he'd have a fight against George Foreman, who basically quit after 2 rounds. He'd have another good performance, and then he got blown out by Riddick Bowe in like 2 or 3 rounds. In his fight with Holyfield was supposed to fight Tyson in November of '91, and Tyson, I think, fractured a rib or something in training, and they needed a late substitute. So they were going to bring in Francisco Damiani. Something happened with him. So now it's like, okay, we're going to bring in Burt Cooper. And it was like, oh, what the hell? This guy doesn't even deserve a title shot. But that's who they had, and so that's who they put in there. And first round, Holyfield drops him. Cooper gets up. Next thing, the third round, he got Holyfield reeling over the ring. Holyfield turned. Oh, shit. This is going to be like the Rocky Balboa story. This guy's really from the suburbs of Philadelphia. Oh, my God, he's going to win the title. You know, and he had Holyfield out on his feet. Wow. Evander, showing his amazing recuperative powers, survived, weathered the storm, came back, stopped for the 7th round, but he got the guy's name on the radar. So now he's stepping up to Moore for the big WBO heavyweight title. Moore's obviously the favorite. He was undefeated at the time, still with Emmanuel Stewart. And I just remember saying, like, I want to go to this fight. It's going to be Atlantic City. I want to go. So my dad took me down and carried everything fighting there, and 4 knockdowns in 5 rounds, with Moore eventually winning on a 5th round TKO. But I just remember the buzz that night. It was the first time I ever, remembered a fight in Atlantic City, and the lights just seemed so bright. And when that main event came on, that crowd was so buzzing. And the 3 other things that I remember from that card was it was a week after Melvin Taylor had gotten stopped by Terry Norris. And what they used to do for these pay-per-view cards was they would always have, like, the broadcast team, like the host, sitting above the arena. So, like, when they were, like, talking and doing the intros, you would look like they were, like, looking down on the ring. And that night, they were doing that, which was right by where I was sitting, and one of the gentlemen that was there was Lou Duva, who was one of Mother Taylor's trainers. And a couple of the teenagers that were sitting in the row behind me kept yelling up to him, "Hey, Lou, why'd you let Melcher go in there with Terry Norris and get beat that bad?" And Lou kept pretending like he couldn't hear him. And you could tell he was avoiding the question. So years later, when we got Lou on our show back in 2009, I said, "Lou, I've been wanting to ask you this question for 17 years. We were trying to ask you at the Trump Taj Mahal in 1992, but you couldn't hear us." I was pretending like I was part of the group of kids asking the question, teenagers. They were like 19, I was 15. I said, "Lou, why you let Melvin Taylor get in there with Terry Norris and get beat that bad?" And he just like laughed it off, Once again, it was a good payday, basically. But I remember that. I remember a fighter who's now permanently injured, and Iceman John Scully talks about him often, is Gerald McClellan. This was about a year or so before Gerald won the title from Julian Jackson. He went on there against the guy, and why I'll never forget his nickname, is the guy was Carl the Irish Assassin Sullivan. Mm-hmm. Carl the Irish Assassin Sullivan could have passed maybe for the Brooke for Bernard Hopkins.
Wow.
He did not look Lily Irish. And Joel knocked him out in about 30 seconds. And then also on that card that I've mentioned it many times was the 5th pro fight, the first time I ever saw Arturo Gatti. So wow. That came up on history yesterday, and kind of fitting, that it was right after Burt's passing. That I got to relive that memory.
My favorite Burt story, I forget where I heard it, but I'm pretty sure it was like a long time ago. It was the last time Burt was making his comeback, and somebody told me that they had actually seen Burt Cooper running for his road work, drinking 40 ounce of beer.
Would you like to know where that story came from?
Was it you?
That story came from a kid named Dwayne Hightower. Dwayne Dwayne Hightower was a teammate of mine at Lockhaven University for a couple of years. Dwayne Hightower was from Hill, Pennsylvania, which is the suburb of Philadelphia in like the Chester area, where Bert Cooper was from. He was from Sharon Hill as well, and Dwayne would tell us that he saw Bert a couple times jogging through Sharon Hill, doing his morning road work with a 40-year-old A. So yeah, that's the story. I saw when you posted something about it on Facebook the other day, and I was like, he's like, I'm not sure where I heard this from, and I'm like, I know where you heard it. Heard it from me. Who heard it from Dwayne.
Yeah. I heard it through the grapevine.
Yeah.
From the boxing Rain Man. Yeah, it was good stuff.
You know what?
But you never know. You never know. Maybe he had water in there. Maybe he just used that for containment.
Yeah.
Can't
The funny thing is, you're in the sport, this long, and just meeting people and talking to people and just joking around with people. I've met people in so many different facets of it that you just hear stories, and I do believe that 6 degrees of separation, because you hear something from somebody, and sometimes the stories get distorted a little bit, as they always do. That's what's like. Where'd you hear it from? Well, I heard from Tony. Heard it from a teammate of his. Or there's times like I've heard things talking to him he has, or sometimes sitting there in the audience. I sat with oh my God, it was Buster Creighton, who was a world champion. I was hanging with him at the Smoking Joe Frazier statue dedication. There was another time, sitting in I was sitting in an arena one night, and there was a fighter there, and I was talking to his son, and then I remember hearing of the fighter, but he was a little bit, I was too young to really remember. It was a guy named Earl of Pearl Hargrove. And he was a junior middleweight out of Philadelphia, known as a devastating puncher. And he was going up against John the Beast Mugotti. Also a contender, also a devastating puncher. And it was basically, that was the fight, was these two murderous punchers. It was whoever was going to catch whoever first. And Mugotti just happened to land first. Well, my dad goes, I remember watching that. He goes, he was going in there with just two dynamic punchers, and it was like, that there was going to be an explosion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then years later, I'm sitting with the guy to fight. Or, sitting with Tex Cobb. You sit there, you sit behind Tex Cobb, you hear stories.
Right. Yeah, met some amazing people myself. From all walks of life. Including my buddy, Mike Tyson. And a few, I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I think it was between shows. I caught an interview on ESPN late at night. It was Dan Le Batard. And I'd heard of him, but I didn't know how his interview style was. But he basically was like talking to Mike like he was his best friend, and just like calling Mike out on some shit and stuff like that in the interview. And Mike was just being real. It was probably one of the best Mike Tyson interviews I've ever seen. So, Dan Le Batard, check it out. I'll send you guys a link.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I guess Mike really enjoys his weed nowadays.
Yeah, he was very mellowed out. Yeah.
I'm thinking, Mike, I mean, you can't even put it down during the interview, Wow.
Well, it's interesting to see how he separated that guy, he calls him. The guy that was Mike Tyson during his prime, and that was the boxer. It's like a different person to him now, and he's really good when he gets into that mode of thinking and discussion of that guy was good for some things and that guy was bad for other things, but mostly he was a bad dude. That guy is basically how he's describing it. It's like a multiple personality disorder deal. I don't know. It's crazy, but it sounds so genuine because he's not. Yeah, he's not in any position to lie about it. Now he's just being real.
Well, you have to admit he's one of the most fascinating human beings ever. I mean, when he is being interviewed, I'm watching and I can't help it. I don't care what he's talking about. I mean, he could talk about Nietzsche versus Schopenhauer. I'd listen to what he has to say on that. I mean, it's just a fascinating human being.
Well, I need my cat after him. Tyson. He's outside now, doing the Tyson thing. Taking some animal nest, hopefully. Anyway, getting back to the schedule this weekend, we got another fight card in Scotland, where Ivan Baranchyk is in action, and this is not only somebody's always got to go, but we got two of them in a row, and two of them are 19-0. Ivan Baranchyk being one of them, and he's fighting Josh Taylor, who's 14-0 for the IBF and WBC lightweight titles. But the WBC one is the silver super lightweight title, and the IBF is just a regular world. No, the world super lightweight title. Oh, because it's super lightweight. Silver super lightweight title and the world super lightweight title. Okay, gotta get that straight. Then we have bantamweights. Emmanuel Rodriguez, 19-0 as well, fighting Naya Inoue, who is 17-0. For the IBF World Bantamweight title and the WBA World Bantamweight title. So big belts on the line there, and a couple TBAs still on this card. You gotta love that. A couple days before the fight. TBA. Their box rec. We'll pick them out of the stands. Also, it's interesting to see down in Delaware, we have a former guest of ours in action. And it's an unexpected one. Hector Camacho Jr. He is 58-7-1. He is the main event at this card. Let me just check it. And he's fighting a guy named Victor Abreu, who is 9-5. So I don't know if this is a tune-up fight or a big-time comeback, because he has not fought in 2 years. His last fight was a loss.
A little bit.
A knockout. He was fighting Orlando Laura, 32-7-2. There's a knockout loss. And before that, he had a 3-fight win streak and some iffy competition. And then he went up against Hector Munoz.
Well, he took up, I think it was David Lemieux.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, I remember the knockout loss he took was, brutal. He got hit and his whole body just completely short-circuited. He just crumbled. I'm pretty sure it was David Lemieux. But then I know he took a first-round knockout also. So I was thinking he might have been looking for another line of work. Which, he's been in the sport for 20-some years. I remember the first time I ever saw him fight live was 1999 down in Atlantic City. And he was already an established pro by that time.
Right.
I know he started up,
Well, we'll see how it works out for him. Sounds like he's not fighting anybody that's a world beater anyway. But out in Brooklyn, speaking of world beaters, we have Deontay Wilder in action. He's got 40 wins, 0 losses, and that one pesky draw against the man we just talked about a little while ago, Tyson Fury. And he's fighting Dominic Breazeale, who is what Tom would call no cheap date. He is 20-1. That's for the WBC World Heavyweight title.
A lot of trash talk. Woo! Wow.
I heard the WBC is really coming down hard on Deontay Wilder, because he made comments about wanting to kill somebody in the ring. I know it was stupid talk, but it seems like in boxing sometimes you need that level of trash talk. It's like you have Mike Tyson talking about putting guys' nose bones through their brain. Mike Tyson talking about eating someone's children and tearing their heart out. He goes, that's sold tickets, So you're going to make boxing politically correct now too?
All right. Good luck with that.
I'll tell you about the maddest I ever was was after a sparring. I was talking about sparring sessions tonight, but it was a sparring session that went a little out of control one time, and I remember saying to the guy, I said, man, I'd love to get that guy back in the ring. We cheap shot him with a couple low blows, flagrant. I think he elbowed me or something, so it was getting ugly. And I said, man, if I ever get him back, I said I would like to. What the hell was the boy's name? The one that killed Benny Parat. Remember that time?
Email Griffith.
Email Griffith. I said I'd love to email Griffith Benny Parat, that motherfucker. And the guy said, "You don't mean that." I'm like, "The fuck I don't." I said, I'll catch him on flips. I'll flurry on him. I'll put him in his grave. Nobody will investigate me.
Well, the co-main event here is going from heavyweights to light guys, featherweights. Gary Russell Jr., 29-1. I think Kiko Martinez, who's 38-9, 8-2. That one's for WBC World Featherweight title. So two big world titles on the line. And the whole damn Russell family is on the card, on the undercard. Gary Antonio Russell at bantamweight and Gary Antoine Russell at super lightweight. Both of them undefeated. Gary is 13-0. Gary Antonio, I should say, and Gary Antoine is 8-0. Gary Antonio is fighting Saul Eduardo Hernandez, who's 13-12-1, and a little bit stiffer competition for Gary Antoine. He's fighting Marcos Mujica, who is 16-3-2. We also have Arguinas Mendez, 25-5-2, fighting Juan Heraldez, 16-0 at lightweight, and another heavyweight fight between undefeated Robert Alfonso, 18-0, and Iago Calades, who is 26-4. With looks like 3 of those 4 coming in his last 6 fights. We'll see how that goes. On his way down or up again. And we definitely have to talk about last week's fights, because I watched them. I watched boxing 2 weeks in a row. Are you guys proud of me?
I'm very proud of you. I was so proud last week, Rich. I did my late afternoon workout, and I told my friend I was going to stop over. I had to drop a gift I got him out in Vegas for the kid. So I said, and I looked at the paper, and the paper said the one card starts at 10, and the box card starts at 11. That's the one I wanted to watch with Julian Williams and Jared Hurd. That's the fight I really wanted to see. I said, so I said, well, I said I'll go to my friend for like 10, and then I'll drive him. It's like a 20-minute ride home. So I'm over there, we're talking bullshit and all this and that, and I'm like, okay, updates. Williams just scored a knockdown. I'm like, Williams the knockdown, huh? It's 9 o'clock. What do you mean he scored a knockdown? And then it's like, what a great fight. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, we got another world champion in Philadelphia. I'm like, what do you mean? What's going on here? Oh shit! The paper said 11. It was on an 8.
Yeah.
Oh man! So I on one chart. Tony, let this be a lesson, okay?
Yeah.
Always check, because on rabbit ears, normally when Fox is rabbit ears, it's almost always 8 o'clock. Because they always say we'll break through your local news at 10, and it's always delayed more, but it's usually 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time if it's on the Fox rabbit ears. Now, if it's on Fox Sports 1, it's usually a little later. So remember that.
Well, I'll tell you, I watched both of the main events. The Miguel Berchelt and Francisco Vargas fight was pretty phenomenal. So it ended. But, and then the main event there, and the other one, like you just mentioned, Hurd, and was it Williams? Williams. Now that was a pretty interesting fight, and I could tell from the very beginning that Hurd was not ready for that type of aggression from Williams. And Williams did the very intelligent thing of covering up whenever Hurd was in a little flurry action. And I'll tell you, the biggest criticism you could have is Hurd was slapping his punches 99% of the time.
Well, if you go back to when Williams got knocked out by Charlo, he walked right into an uppercut and went flat on his face, and that was pretty much the end of the story. So I think Hurd was kind of banking on that. So Williams made the smart tactical move of when he fought inside the fight, like chest to chest, which didn't give enough room to throw his uppercut. And then the second thing was, and even the announcer made a point of it, because I watched the fight on replay the other night, and I'm glad I did. The short counter punches, Williams was so precise with his counter punches.
Very
right
short,
on point with them.
very short.
Everything they were short. They were 6 inches, and they were just the best word to say is they were precise.
And he was very aggressive in the early rounds. I mean, very aggressive, and he was throwing with bad intentions. He wanted that knockout, and then he started to slow down a little bit. Hurd started to catch up slightly, but not really take complete advantage of it. And the one thing is, I think Williams figured out that as long as he didn't get caught flush with the best that Hurd had, that he was never going to get knocked out by anything that Hurd had, because he was throwing so many arm punches. He wasn't able to establish his footing and get the twisting and the heel and the toe and all that stuff into his punches. And it's part of his style too that he does it that way, and he's able to get away with it and score points because he's quick. But in this case, Williams was smarter and a little bit more powerful when his punches did land, and he picked very good opportunities to throw. So I was very impressed with that strategy, and sort of disappointed with Hurd being undefeated and coming in there and trying to represent, and just looked like he was sort of out of it after the first couple of rounds. Like he's, whoa, geez, I didn't sign up to fight this guy, did I? Kind of that reaction.
Well, you remember, Hurd's always been a slow starter. I mean, he's always been a slow starter. We've seen that before, and I kept thinking he's digging himself into a hole. And Williams just, his conditioning was good, perfect. His fight plan was on. I mean, everything about it. I just can't say enough good about it. Kind of erased the sense from that first fight. We have to talk about that.
And you know what? It's like, you're right, because I remember there was even saying that, Hurd, often gives away almost the first 3 rounds. But it's like, you look back to, Marvin Hagler giving away the first 4 rounds against Shuri Leonard, and then, Leonard basically only had to win 3 of the next 9, or 3 of the next 8 rounds to, guarantee the decision without it. And
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's a danger. Like Joe Clancy always said, if you're the better fighter, theoretically, you should win every minute of every round. Now, we know that's not the case, but it's a good point. What is that strategy? You want to feel your opponent out? Well, it could backfire. And it sure did.
You know what? It goes back to the fight that I had with a good friend of Rich's by the name of Jesse Bond, the human clutch machine. First fight, I went in with 2 really sore hands from fighting another friend of Rich's the previous week, Brian Carr, and bouncing my hand off his cement noggin for 2 rounds until they're so swollen and throw him in the 3rd round. So I fight Jesse the next week down at the Naval Academy, because we fought at a neutral spot. And this guy, Jesse, southpaw, even though he was taller and heavier, he liked to clutch and grab a lot. So him coming to me was like a tactical error. It actually allowed me to box, step to my left, box, and when he would come in, I would lower my body, step to the left, I would throw a right uppercut to the solar plexus, a left hook around the side. And I was hitting him in the flank area between, the ribs and the kidney. Not exactly legal, but I did it for 3 rounds. And in the neutral site, I won that decision. When we had our second fight, I made the tactical error, which basically I went to do the exact same thing, but I was doing it in his home arena, which means he's already going to get at he did win the first round, because I was waiting for him to clutch and let me land the body shot. He was actually throwing punches. He did land a couple. So the first round definitely went to him. But in losing the battle of the first round, I thought I won the war because my body shots were strength sapping. So I didn't score the point, but I thought I did the damage. The second round was a little bit more of the same, but he went back into the clutch mode where I just went into body punch mode. Hard, thudding body shots. But the problem was where they scored them in the neutral arena, they did not give me the credit in the Penn State arena. So, once again, I lost that battle on 2 of the 3 cards, but essentially won the war. If there was a 4th round, he doesn't stand through it, because he barely stood through the 3rd. Where the one judge had me winning 2 of the 3 rounds, but the other 2 judges got swayed by the home crowd cheering the punches he threw to the head and ignoring my harder shots to the body. So in essential, I gave away 2 of the first 3 rounds, and that cost me the fight, even though it was part of the strategy. It wasn't the right strategy. If it was a long fight, yes, it would have been a great strategy. So that's one thing going into a fight. It's like you have to be careful when you're setting the pace and setting the tempo that you're not just giving away things. If the guy's earning it and you're wearing him out by making him earn it, okay, that's fine. And maybe I was making him earn it and I did wear him out, but it would have been beneficial in a longer fight.
Right. And we also had, I'm not sure if it was this fight or it was on even this card or the other card, but I believe wasn't there a fight that ended in a body shot knockout? One of the cards last weekend? They broke a rib or something and it just fell.
There was, yes. There was one fight, and I'm forgetting the names. It was a late substitute. It was a Filipino fighter.
Ambunda?
And they said he has a reputation for 30, and he's been disqualified a couple times. And his opponent put him out with a left hook to the liver.
Okay, so it wasn't him. It wasn't that one. Well, this fight, co-main event there at the Hurd Williams fight was Paulus Ambunda, who was 27-2, beating Stephen Fulton, who came in undefeated, 15-0. That was for the IBO World Super Bantamweight title. Then we had Mario Barrios at welterweight, staying undefeated, going to 24-0, against Juan Jose Velasco, who came in at 20-1. And we had a draw at middleweight. Matvey Korobov came in at 28-2, so he gets the one draw. And then Emmanuel Alim gets his second draw to go with 18 wins and 1 loss. And we also had the International Boxing Organization Intercontinental Super Flyweight title.
That's where the controversy was, because that was only boxing could do something like this. Imagine the Super Bowl now. You know, when we're down to the last 3 seconds, and there's a field goal, and the game's over. And then a half hour later, the judge, the kick was no good. Game's over. Yeah. And the lane, because initially it was correct, even though, I had an easy 7-3 on my card, but initially it was a majority decision in favor of Corbo. And then one of the judges got the addition wrong. Got the addition wrong. Now, when I was in first grade, remember Miss Randolph was our teacher, and she had a little nursery rhyme for us. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we go back again, so we'd sing that a little bit, and then she would go around. Now, Tommy, what comes after 3? 4. Yeah, 4 was right. Oh, good, Tommy. Now, Susie, what's after 8? Okay, this is 1 to 10. 1 to 10. How could this be? How could you not get this right?
Yeah.
How? I could understand if it was a real complex quadratic equation or some differential calculus formula that the judges had to really put like an hour's worth of effort into. But this is a 10-point must system, right? Winner gets 10, loser gets 9 or less.
Use your phone.
Okay? And it's a 10-round fight, okay? So someone could get 100, and maybe the loser would get 90 or less. This is not that difficult. Exactly. Now, someone had to make a phone call to someone. I mean, and we're supposed to believe this, and we're the only sport that we put up with this. Yeah. Imagine that scenario I'm talking about with the Super Bowl. How would football fans tolerate it? I don't think so. Would basketball fans in any major sport, would fans of any sport tolerate this? And they're going to protest the decision. Good luck. It's my 2 words for that. And apparently the Virginia State Athletic Commission is now number 2, right behind Nevada for corruption in my book. That was as bad as anything I've ever seen. You got your addition wrong. Can anyone believe that? I mean, if I were the athletic director of that commission, I would put this idiot in. Well, first off, I'd want to see who his special ed teacher was for his math class. And then he would be given a 6-month remedial. Only arithmetic. Now, we're not going to get into statistics. We won't even get into division or multiplication. We're just addition. Right. It's not that complicated. It's unbelievable. And there are no consequences for this. This Mark Diatillo, the judge, well, I'm sure he'll be ruling another card, just like Admiral Byrd can rule all the cards he wants. And then, we wonder why we put up with this.
Ruining cards is a skill.
Yeah.
Wow. There's some
and it's just such a shame. It's a shame that when these guys get in, they put their life on the line for our entertainment, train so hard, put everything into it, and then something like this happens. Only in boxing. And there were so many
sometimes it's shitty.
like a Teddy Atlas Jr., you know.
Cisco Vargas, and I believe this was a rematch of a fight, earlier fight that Miguel won.
Yes.
And boy, it wasn't really a big, tough, crazy drag-out war, but Vargas hung in there. He hung in there solid for a while, and then just got overwhelmed. And it was probably the best quarter of the night, where he basically said, "Yeah, I mean, I respect my corner's decision, but he was throwing a lot of sharp combinations." He said, as his face is cut up in a million places because of those sharp combinations. Like the dude had sandpaper on his gloves. He was cut up so bad on